Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Or just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives in New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade. Sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hey, what's up? I think I fixed it. New setup. Who dat? Hi, guys. I'm back again. I'm going to get this new setup figured out one of these days, and I think I figured it out. I moved the camera closer, and I think it's working. I got a thing. It's a whole setup, and I think we're going to make it work. Woo, 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 woo. Very exciting news about the Ellen Greenberg case that I wanted to break with you. So many of you sent it to me. And yeah, because of all the technical difficulties earlier with number one, the Verizon outage, which is affecting my Ethernet and so many people's cell phones still to this day. If anyone has Verizon, you know what I'm talking about. We had zero service yesterday for 12 hours. You could not make phone calls to anybody with Verizon. You couldn't get phone calls from anybody with Verizon. We could only iMessage each other. And if you were trying to text someone who didn't have an iPhone, just forget it. It didn't work. And they're working out the quirks and whatever. We're going to deal with it. And I think YouTube also has issue today. YouTube, Verizon, and StreamYard all have issues today. And so I don't know, something must be in retrograde. I'm not really sure. I was glitching for a lot of people earlier. It must be your internet service provider, because for some people it wasn't glitchy at all. So I don't know. But I made the executive decision to push Aaron Spencer's catch up until tomorrow. So we're going to do that tomorrow, just in case it wouldn't work again today. And thank you all again for the power of prayer for my little one, who did find out last night that she got into her dream school. Remember, her early decision dream school, she did not get into. And so everyone was sending words of encouragement, like rejection is protection, rejection is redirection, and so forth. And now she had her heart set on this school. And we found out last night that she is in. She is in. There is nothing harder. The waiting is the hardest part. Tom Petty said it best. And for those of you who have ever had high school seniors, you know how hard the waiting is when you're just waiting to find out who's going to accept you, who's not going to accept you, where you're going to go. It was meant to be. And all I can say is aloha. Aloha, my friends, my ohana. Aloha. And if you know what I'm talking about and you know where and you live there, please reach out to me because we are thrilled. We're thrilled. And it's very exciting. We have a rainbow warrior. Thanks to you guys for your power of prayer. So thank you so much. Is Ellen's cousin in chat? Thank you so much, Bonnie. If you are Ellen's cousin, praise be. We know what happens when the feds get involved. We've seen it in Massachusetts. We saw it in the Sandra Birchmore case. It took years for finally the feds to get involved and for there to be one arrest in the Sandra Birchmore murder. That was quickly also ruled a suicide. And it now Matthew Farwell is sitting in federal holding, waiting for his federal trial, not only for the murder of Sandra Birchmore, but also for the murder of her unborn child. So we know what happens when the feds get involved. And all we can say is it's about time. It's about time for Ellen Greenberg. I also have queued up for you as well some of the Timothy Busfield story. Listen, I don't know. Some people say Busfield. Some people say Busfield. If you don't know him, I'm sure you do. He was in the West Wing. He was in 30-something all the way back in the day. Remember 30-something, that TV series from 1987? I didn't realize that he's married to Melisa Gilbert of Little House on the Prairie fame, and she's standing by her man, and he's being held in New Mexico on child SA charges, and he might need to call Alan Jackson. I don't know. Who knows if maybe next thing we hear will be that he's retained Alan Jackson or Alex Spiro, right? Didn't he do the Alec Baldwin case in New Mexico? He's already familiar with the system there. I'm not sure. So I've got that. Then I've got another wild story for you that I'm just finding out about. This is a trial that's currently ongoing in California, in Los Gatos. It's a Los Gatos party mom who's on trial, and she's been on trial since the beginning of December for some pretty wild things. Her name is Shannon O'Connor. Do you guys know about this? It's not being televised, so why would you? There's a lot of stories they don't want us knowing about. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the John Kerry murder trial that is coming up in Essex Superior Court. There was supposed to be a hearing tomorrow on that, but that motion in limine hearing has been pushed to the 20th, which is not a great date for me because I got to go meet my boy, Dave Matthews. Is anybody going to Cancun? If you're going to Cancun for Dave Matthews, please reach out to me and let me know that you're going to be there, because let's hang out. And also, like, why wouldn't you want to go? If you love Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, why wouldn't you want to go to Cancun to see 3 concerts on the beach? I took you guys with me last year. John Kerry, that's what I said, Carey, right? That conference tomorrow has been pushed to next week, and it's in Essex Superior Court. Originally, the trial judge was supposed to be, guess who? Kathleen McCarthy-Nyman, and so it's unclear right now who the trial judge is going to be on that. But we'll take a look at the docket and what the list of motions in limine, and then hopefully I can get some of those papers so that we can look at them, because John Kerry is on trial for the 1986. It's not a typo or a misspeak. The 1986 murder of a girl by the name of Claire Gravel, who went missing after a night at Major McLeish's pub in Salem. And we did at least one show on that already. And this is wild because there are 2 law enforcement officers who should be considered third-party culprits that were never investigated. In fact, one of them met with Claire Gravel, I believe it was the night that she went missing, at Major McLeish's pub. And she had written about this guy in her diary, and he was never investigated. Are you shocked? Are you shocked? Alan Jackson is not coming to Cancun. I don't even know if Alan Jackson likes Dave Matthews, but we have merch because when life gives us lemonades, we make life gives us lemons, we make merch. Okay, back to Ellen Greenberg. Ellen Greenberg was 27 years old when she was found inside her Manayunk apartment by her fiance, suffering from 23 wounds caused by a sharp implement, many to the back of her head, neck, and shoulder area. Remember the first time I did a show on Ellen Greenberg, it got taken down in the middle because apparently nobody wants us talking about this case or the S word. So just please be mindful of what you put in the chat. That was January of 2011. And for almost 15 years, well, it is 15 years because it's January of 2026. Now there's a new twist. According to several sources, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania is interested in the Ellen Greenberg case, according to several sources. Apparently, the federal government requested documents and information from the Philadelphia Police Department and other agencies last month. Sources told NBC 10. It's unclear how the federal government has become involved in the Ellen Greenberg case and whether, if or ever, it will release any details about its interest in Ellen Greenberg's death. As you recall, Ellen had at least 20 wounds to the back of her head and neck. The medical examiner in Philadelphia originally ruled it a homicide, but later switched it to a taking of her own life. It has remained that way ever since. And the family is outraged. They deserve some answers. And so now, hopefully, there's hope for the family. And many people, not only Ellen's family, but many commentators, many reporters, investigators believe that the evidence does not show a taking of her own life, but the taking of her life at the hands of another. I have to be so careful in the first couple of minutes of this stream, which I absolutely hate doing. Ellen's parents, along with her team of attorneys, have long insisted that the evidence shows that someone else took Ellen's life, and they have waged a years-long battle with Philadelphia, and they've accused the city of labeling her death a taking of her own life to allegedly cover up a botched homicide investigation. And we've seen that before, so we're all too familiar with it. The family's first real sign of progress, according to NBC Philadelphia, came in January of 2025 when the original medical examiner on the case said in a written sworn statement that Ellen's death should be designated something other than suicide. And there was a settlement reached in early February last year. The Greenbergs agreed to drop the suit or all of their lawsuits in exchange for Philadelphia paying them $650,000 and having the medical examiner perform an independent review of Ellen's autopsy. Then, this past October, which is, I believe, the time we covered it last, the new medical examiner who performed the independent review once again confirmed the original manner of death as a taking of one's own life. I am not frozen. If I am frozen for you, please go out and come back. There's something going on with YouTube today. It's happening to a lot of people. For other people, it's fine. Robin J says, why did Sam call his uncle so fast? Right. Didn't they come in and take the devices and things? And I think her purse. I do have Verizon. Ethernet, but for many people it's okay. And for many people it's not. But if everyone keeps complaining, I'm just gonna abort the stream. When I read the camera freezes, I don't know. There's people who listen. Did I talk about? Okay, refresh your own damn browser. Okay, refresh it. Refresh your browser. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. If I could fix all the technology problems in the world, I would do it. Okay. So if you left and it didn't fix it, it could be your internet service provider, because we had the same issue this morning. And when I watched myself back on replay, it was fine. So I'm not going to give up on Ellen Greenberg just yet. If you are having issues, it could be a you issue. Go out, come back, refresh your browser, go off your Wi-Fi, come back onto your Wi-Fi. I don't know. And maybe it's YouTube. I have no idea. In October of 2025, the new medical examiner once again ruled her death a suicide. There was a 32-page report that was rendered by the new medical examiner. And it cited several factors, including Ellen's struggle with anxiety, the number of hesitation wounds on her body, and that there was no evidence that she was in a DV-type relationship or that anyone else was inside the apartment the day she died. We know about all the shenanigans. We know about all the Fugazi stuff, and I'm going to link the prior streams below so you can go back and watch them. The U.S. Attorney's Office told NBC Philadelphia, quote, it's their standard practice to neither confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation. And we know that because we've seen the FBI involved and the feds involved and the U.S. Attorney's Office involved in many things in Massachusetts, including but not limited to the investigation of the Massachusetts State Police into the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, and also the murder of Sandra Birchmore and her child. unborn child, I should say. And the U.S. Attorney's Office never confirms or denies the investigation and doesn't confirm or deny when and if it's closed either. A spokesperson for the Philadelphia Police Department explained that the department does not comment on ongoing legal matters. The city of Philadelphia says it will neither confirm nor deny that the U.S. Attorney's Office requested information related to the Ellen Greenberg case, which is far different from Michael Morrissey's office, who seemed to want to tell it, really wanted to find out what the feds were investigating and did not leave any stone unturned to try and find out what the U.S. Attorney's Office was investigating, because he really wanted to know if they were investigating. I need to just quote, hearing the news of a federal investigation into any part of Ellen's murder is the greatest gift Sandy and Josh could ever receive. They've waited so long for this, and we will do whatever we can to assist in solving this heinous crime and obtaining justice for Ellen. Joe Pedraza, the attorney for Ellen Greenberg's parents, wrote in a statement to NBC 10. Oh, please, while I pull up the video for you. Here we go.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania is now interested in the Ellen Greenberg case. That is what we have learned from several sources. They tell us the federal government requested documents and information from the Philadelphia Police Department and other agencies last month. This is a case you have heard a lot about. Greenberg was discovered in January 2011 by her fiance inside their apartment here in Manayunk. The 27-year-old had been stabbed 20 times. The medical examiner originally ruled her death a homicide, but later switched it to suicide, and it has remained that way ever since. It's unclear how the federal government became involved and if or when it will release any details about its interest in Ellen Greenberg's death. But this gives new hope for her parents, who have long insisted the justice system has failed them. Josh and Sandy Greenberg, along with their team of attorneys, have long proclaimed that the evidence shows the school teacher was murdered. They waged a years-long battle with Philadelphia, accusing the city of labeling her death as suicide to cover up a botched homicide investigation. They want Ellen's name cleared and her manner of death switched to homicide or undetermined. Their first real sign of progress came in January of last year. Days before the Greenbergs' case was set to play out in court, the original medical examiner said in a written sworn statement that Ellen's death should be designated as something other than suicide. Both sides settled inside City Hall in early February. The Greenbergs agreed to drop their lawsuits in exchange for Philadelphia paying them $650,000 and having the medical examiner perform a new independent review of Ellen's autopsy. But the Greenbergs suffered a major blow in October when the new medical examiner once again ruled her death as suicide. The 32-page report cited several factors, including Ellen's struggle with anxiety, the number of hesitation wounds, and that there was no evidence she was in an abusive relationship.
You know, I'm no investigator and neither are you guys, but I mean, come on. Come on already. Really? Stop with the gaslighting already. Like, we don't need to be gaslit anymore. It's wild. I don't know. Some people are saying that when I talk, I get frozen, and when I don't talk, I'm not frozen. Maybe it's a mic issue. I don't know. I'll look into it while we're playing this video.
Or that anyone else was inside the apartment the day she died. The U.S. Attorney's Office told us it's their standard practice to neither confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation, and a spokesperson for Philadelphia police told us the department does not comment on ongoing legal matters. Meanwhile, the city of Philadelphia says it will neither confirm nor deny that the U.S. Attorney's Office requested information related to the Ellen Greenberg case. I'm Brian Sheehan, NBC 10 News.
All right. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Is that any better? I don't know. It's a whole new system, so I had to configure everything, and maybe that's...
How do we stop it?
We stop it like that. Maybe that's the issue, but I don't really know. I don't know. Working fine for people. I don't know. There's a lot of... Amy Adams says, yeah, it's BS and CYA. In this case, she did stab the back of herself like it shows. That's what She didn't, or she did? I mean, that's what they say, that she did, which is crazy. So young and so beautiful. I don't know. I don't know. I think the whole world is crumbling. I think everything technological is just going berserk and whatever. It is what it is. Thank you, Under Your Scars, for your all caps saying you're froze audio only. We've been talking about this all day, and I don't know what the issue is, but I can't fix it right now. Thank you for being here for 5 months. And Laura says, at least your face is frozen. You don't smile. Oh, good. Did I do myself dirty on the freeze frame or no? Thanks on top for your super sticker. As always, you're so kind and generous. And Lynn says the FBI is telling us nothing. It seems that way, right? Telling us nothing. Thanks for hanging out with me for 17 months. What are your thoughts, my friends? Mr. Crowley says also the entire narrative regarding the door lock, etc., is only from the ex and was never verified by an investigation since an investigation never happened. Right. Right. Tell me more. Tell me more. Because didn't Sam's uncle come over? Wasn't he a lawyer? And didn't they take some of the evidence out of the house? And wasn't the house like cleaned right away? I may be conflating my cases, but tell me. Oh, Zoe. Oh, Zoe. I always look to Zoe when I need some reassurance. Zoe says hesitation wounds could also be from a struggle between two people or the offender trying to use the victim's hand on the device to inflict wounds to make it look like the victim self-inflicted. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. And the internet is crazy right now. So many people are always streaming. So it is what it is. I don't know if YouTube is part of uses Verizon for part of their web services. I don't know. I don't know. Proctorial misconduct says you can't kiss your elbow or stab your back. Thank you for your thoughts. And I really, really, really hope that something happens. And look at Jacqueline's a rainbow warrior. Proud one of that. Good. Can you write to me and tell me how you loved it? Give me all the tips and tricks. You know, where to live freshman year. Tell me about the sorority. Tell me about all of it. Tell me everything. Tell me everything. Fanbase@mlittleaw.com. Tell me everything. I want all my Hawaii friends to reach out to me because I'm going to need you as boots on the ground in Hawaii in case, something happens and we need somebody on the ground there because it's really, really, really far away. I know so many parents here in the Northeast who don't allow their children to go to college west of the Mississippi. And for me and my kids, I always firmly believe that the 4 years that you go to college is like the only time in your life that you can go and have an adventure and live somewhere different with different people. And I totally believe that it is something that a gift that if you feel comfortable, every parent should give their child the ability to roam freely about the cabin. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I went out to Boulder for college and I loved it so much. I stayed for law school and I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. So many people here in the Northeast stay here forever and they never ever leave. And you can go away to college and come back 20 years later and they're all going to be working at the same gas station. I think if you know, you know. If you know, you know. And so maybe I'm thinking, right, in case I need somebody to pick her up at the airport. Right. No, I'm thinking, are you guys watching Landman? I know you are. I know you're watching Landman. I'm going to be like Allie Larder and I'm just going to move to the Big Island for like 3 months when I drop her off. I think that's what I should do. Don't you think I should do that? I'm going to be an empty nester. I can do whatever I want. I can take the show on the road, you guys. So it's going to be a 5-hour time difference. So what? No big whoop, no biggie. I think I'll do that. I'll be like Allie Larder in Landman. And I don't know, some of those storylines are just not interesting me anymore. I think Allie Larder is gonna like move in with her daughter at college. The finale of this season of Landman is on Saturday night. I think it drops I know it drops at midnight because I wait until midnight on Saturday to watch it. And Billy Bob Thornton is going to be live. I don't know if it's live, but going to be on with Billy Bush on Monday. So you're not going to want to miss that. And for the love of the traveling Mary people, if you have the opportunity, if Billy Bush is live with Billy Bob Thornton, no spoilers. Okay, no spoilers. I'm just saying, call me Allie Larder. I wish I looked like Allie Larder, but I'm sure, Scott, that you are among the segment of the population that is not entirely enthralled with the mother-daughter storyline. A lot of people on Reddit, think they should just cut out that whole part of the storyline. That's stupid. So really, that's what it's about. What was I saying? Yeah, for the love of the traveling Mary, you guys, if Billy Bob Thornton is live on Billy Bush and you want to ask him a question, would you send a freaking super chat? Hello? Hello? So there's that. Yeah, I forgot Billy Bob. Susan says I've heard that Billy Bob is so cool in person. I honestly, to be honest with you, I remember when Angelina Jolie was married to him and they used to wear the little vials of blood around their neck of each other. And I thought it was like weird. And I was like, I didn't get it. I just did not get the whole Billy Bob Thornton thing until I watched the TV show Goliath. Have you guys watched Goliath? Because after I watched Goliath, in which Billy Bob plays an alcoholic, lawyer who was like shunned from his white shoe firm and lives in Santa Monica in a dirty motel right next to Shay J in Santa Monica. If you know, you know. Shay J is amazing. Then I got it. When I started watching Goliath, I got it. And I love that show so much. If you haven't watched it, go find it. It is in my opinion, one of the best series ever. Let me tell you where you can find it. Oh, please. Oh, come on, man. I'm saying new device. It's not letting me sign into my IMDb Pro right now. Okay, well, here's what I'll look it up on my phone. Okay, because we're old fashioned like that. We can go into the old technology and get it. Goliath, I think, is on Prime. Thank you, Gen X, that you're saving me the time. And it's great. The season with Mark Duplass, whoa, that was wild, right? Wasn't that a wild season? Very uncomfortable. Yeah, I know. You say you don't get it. You still don't get it. But watch Goliath. And I'm not saying that I'm like attracted to him. I'm saying he's an amazing actor and I get it. Now I get it. Deborah said, I asked my daughter when she was applying, if something happened to you, how long would you be okay until I could get there? She said 30 minutes tops. That sealed it. She went to an in-state college. Yeah, none of my kids wanted to go in the SUNY system. And so everybody's a plane ride away, which is okay because, when my daughter who's in the South at an undisclosed location and I needed to get to her, you guys were with me because we were on trial. I forget what trial we were on. It was during Karen Reed trial too. And I needed to get there because she had to go to the ER with an emergency. And I was down there. I was at JFK within an hour and on a flight. I was there in a couple of hours. If I had to drive to Binghamton, it would take me longer. That's the way I look at it. Right. And Jennifer says, oh my gosh, Melanie, exactly. That's where I found Billy Bob Thornton. Yes. And he seems really cool. Right. He seems really, you guys have been in a lot of places with me. We go to Mexico every year. Sometimes we live stream a little Dave Matthews for those of you who like it. And yeah. Oh, really? Sidebar Fly says, Billy Bob is an do you say Arkansan? I wonder if he would be interested. Oh, we got to ask him, you guys. We got to ask him about the corruption in Arkansas and what the hell's going on there. In the cases that we're covering in Arkansas. Hello. Oh, where's Cardi? Oh, I don't have Cardi on this computer. I gotta transfer everything over from my laptop. I don't have Cardi B. Remind me to do that later. Everyone smash the like button. Why don't we do that? Why don't we hello? For the love of the traveling Melanie says Scarlet Begonias. I'm still crying about Bob Weir. I can't forget. I can't stop. I can't stop. Won't stop. So upset. It's like the end of an era. It's like the end of a part of my life has died too. And I'm so sad about it. Yes. Give us an interview, Billy. I know. Oh, Felicia, I know what your real name is. And I know you are from Arkansas. And we need to talk about Aaron Spencer with him and perhaps the new case of Charity Bialis. What is going on there? Why is there so much corruption? 2,400 of us here. 24. My angel number book is over there, but I'll have to look up the number 24 later. We pulled a card earlier today. Did I already talk about this card, the badass affirmation card of the day? Because we can pull another one if you like. Angie says, Melanie, I never went to UH Manoa, but I grew up in Hawaii and lived on Oahu for 2 years. Oh, I would love to hear all about it. I've been to Maui. via Honolulu. So I've been there and I love it there. Reader Kev says Billy Bob's daughter is going to Cal Poly and he bought a house there to be close to her. Probably where that storyline came from. That's amazing. Taylor Sheridan, right? Writes all of these shows. He writes everything. He writes everything on Paramount Plus right now, and he doesn't have a writer's room. So he writes it only himself. Only himself. He writes all of these stories by himself without a writer's room. I think that was in his deal. Because remember when the Writers Guild went on strike and they were like, no, you have to have a writer's room. And he was like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. He's written all of these shows alone. Okay. He was like a D-list actor. And please don't redirect to other channels. Thank you so much. And so I don't know. Maybe he took some storyline from Billy Bob. It's possible. It's possible, but I love that. I love that. Taylor Sheridan is amazing. What else did he write? Yellowstone, Landman, all the Yellowstone reboots, Tulsa King, which we also watched together. And he writes them all himself, right? All right, here we go. Today's, we can read another one, but this is the one from this morning in case you missed it, because everyone needs an affirmation of the day. And this is a good one. It's called, it says, oh, you know what? Okay, here's a funny thing. Here's what happens when you get old. When you get old, you need contacts to see far away. Some people anyway, I'm talking about me. You need contacts to see far away, like when you're driving. And then when you take your contacts out, you can read, but if you have your contacts in, you need to put readers over your contacts. I don't know. It's a whole thing. And I didn't bring any readers over here with me, but it says, I think, I have the serenity. There's no light over here either, so that's not helping me. I have the serenity to kick some ass today. That's what it is. I have the serenity to kick some ass today. Do you see it? Do you like my nails? They're chrome polish, rose gold. Love it. I think you guys were right about that cat eye manicure that I had. I think I was allergic because I was getting really, really dry on one of my eyelids. Let's pull another affirmation of a badass for the evening stream, because why not? Lioness, he wrote, did he write Lioness too? That was amazing. I loved Lioness. Did you guys watch that? Nicole Kidman, right? Was in that, and that was so good. All right, here we are. We don't have a lot of cards in the deck left because every time we pull one, I put it aside, and I'm still thinking about the one. Winners concentrate on winning. Losers concentrate on winners. It's my favorite one so far, and I repeat it every day. And this one says, give me a flashlight. All right, here it is. It's kind of in line with the other one. It says, I have a kick-ass life. I have a kick-ass life. It's got to focus. Let it do its thing. And that is your second badass affirmation of the day. I have a kick-ass life. You do. You have a kick-ass life. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Ever. Zoe says, have serenity to kick some ass in spite of everyone complaining of their tech issues today. Yep, that works. Right? That's for my daughter. That's for my daughter. And so you can all rest assured that I will never, ever, ever leave you, because next year I will have 3 kids in college at the same time. And so I will never, ever, ever retire. Never. I'll be with you forever until the end of time. So we got that going for us. Thank you, Welsh Lady Reads, for becoming a new member. I think you're going to like it here. Proctorial misconduct says postmortem wounds. You can't do that either. Just saying. Just saying. Sarah B. Creative says, hit the like button, my beautiful people. Yes, please do that. It helps the algorithm. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. The space in between them will be the Melanie triangle. I don't know what that means. The space between is a Dave Matthews song. Are you talking in song lyrics to me? Because I'll allow it. I will always allow you to talk and sing song lyrics to me. All right, so why does this input volume over here on my settings keep changing? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll call my special business specialist over there at Apple, the Apple store. They were going to give me a special phone number to call if I had any issues. And so maybe I have issues. I don't know. Let's get these notes back over onto the proper screen here. Okay. Hello. Come on back. Come on back. We need Cardi B. We need Cardi B. All right. Let's talk about Timothy Busfield or Busfield. I'm calling him Busfield until I hear otherwise. Timothy Busfield of West Wing fame and 30-something fame. And another show, one of my favorites. Tell me if you remember this one. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Did you guys watch that show? That show was amazing. I love that show so much. Go find it. Go find it. I don't know where you can find it, but you'll find it. Timothy Busfield was on 28 episodes of The West Wing. He was on 22 episodes of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, which was also Aaron Sorkin. Amazing. It was like a behind the scenes of Saturday Night Live type show. It was great. I love that show so much. And he was in 85 episodes of 30-something, which ran from 1987. I'm sorry, 1987 to 1991. I did love Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Tell me if you can, where West Wing was also Aaron Sorkin. A lot of walk and talk in every Aaron Sorkin show. And the dialogue is super snappy and really intelligent. Studio 60 was great. Yep. And we already covered Ellen Greenberg. If you missed it, you're going to have to rewind and then catch up to us. There also was some news I think it was in Deadline yesterday that they pulled the episode of Law & Order SVU for this season that is coming up with Timothy Busfield in it. They pulled it from the roster and they're going to show something else instead. So the ramifications are coming for the alleged behavior of Timothy Busfield. Now, also keep in mind, there are allegations or there was whispered about allegations, very loudly whispered about allegations of a film that Timothy Busfield made with Jennifer Love Hewitt years ago. And there were some rumblings about don't ever leave him alone with her. Listen, innocent until proven guilty always. That's the way we do it here. There was a press conference just a little bit ago. We're going to play that from New Mexico because they're going to update us on everything. And then another person came forward with some more allegations out of California. That's in Sacramento. And that is, those allegations are from 1999. And I think that Timothy Busfield may need Ellen Jackson. I'm just saying. So Timothy Busfield has been accused by twin boys, age 11 years old, of inappropriate conduct that occurred during the filming of the TV series, The Cleaning Lady, between November 22nd November of 2022 and the spring of 2024. When these allegations came out, Timothy Busfield released a statement denying everything. And of course, Jesse Weber had it on his show. So I'm going to play Jesse Weber's show for you for a moment so that you can see it. If you haven't seen him denying it, we're going to watch it now. He admitted to touching child actors, quote, playfully. This is the arrest warrant was issued for Busfield on January 9th. He didn't turn himself in until 5 days later. and he drove 2,000 miles from their home in New York near the Catskills. I think it's in the Catskills, all the way to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Each count that he's been charged with is an up to 6-year in prison term, and each count of CA is up to 3 years. And let's take a look at his denial on Jesse Weber's Sidebar Law and Crime Show.
Though, to be clear, he characterized the interaction, some sort of, and we're going to talk about it, that it was, quote, highly likely he had some sort of physical contact with the children. Though, to be clear, he characterized the interactions as just being playful. But here's Busfield's side. So right before turning himself in, he looks into a camera and flat out called all of this lies. He insisted upon his innocence in this video statement that was obtained by TMZ.
I had to get a lawyer. Saturday, I got in a car and drove 2,000 miles to Albuquerque. I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies. And I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team. And I'm going to be exonerated.
And by the way, you also have Larry Stern. So there's
Wait, he said he had to get a lawyer, but wasn't he represented by a public defender at the court appearance? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he thought he was going to get bonded and he would need his car. That's a great point. Melissa Gilbert of Little House on the Prairie fame. And she was the SAG president at one point. I don't know if she still is standing by her man. And so that is his statement that he gave, I guess, to TMZ. Yesterday, there was a raid on Timothy Busfield's New York home after he surrendered. And this is wild. This is coming to me and you from the New York Post. Hold on, because I got to put it in reader mode because of all the pop-ups. And this is from yesterday's New York Post. I mean, they went there, they banged the doors down. And it must have been a wild scene. I haven't seen any video footage of it yet, though. Hang on. And here it is from yesterday's New York Post. Heavily armed federal agents rammed down the door of Timothy Busfield's New York home in dramatic raid after he surrendered on child SA charges. Heavily armed federal agents rammed down the door of actor Timothy Busfield's upstate please. Upstate New York home in a dramatic raid on Tuesday, less than an hour after he turned himself in to police in Albuquerque on child SA charges, according to a report. At least 10 U.S. Marshals officers from the New York Regional Fugitive Task Force busted through the front door with a battering ram. They banged the door down. With a battering ram at the West Wing Star's residence in Highland Lake, about 20 minutes from the Pennsylvania border in the Catskills Mountains. The Daily Mail reported. The officers wearing helmets and armed with assault rifles and riot gear searched inside the house for about 10 minutes, but found nobody inside. They then moved to the rear of the property and searched an RV parked there and an outhouse, according to the outlet. That's according to the Daily Mail. And look, the Daily Mail used to be considered a rag, but as of now, and these present times, they get everything right and they get it the fastest because they've been sued so many times that their legal department is on top of it. And so if you read it in the Daily Mail nowadays, a lot has changed and you can totally believe it. Here's the mugshot. If you're not looking at your screen, come and look at it. I think he was trying to get the angle right by positioning the camera and looking up at it. The officers wearing helmets and armed with assault rifles and riot gear searched inside the house for about 10 minutes, but found nobody inside. They then moved to the rear of the property and searched an RV parked there and an outhouse, according to the outlet. An outhouse. They have an outhouse at their house in Highland Lake. There's his mugshot released by police after he turned himself in on January 13th. Bernalillo County Metropolitan Detention Center. And here's Timothy Busfield and his wife, Melisa Gilbert, at the Monte Carlo Television Festival in 2023. They, meaning the law enforcement that stormed and banged the door down at the house, did not appear to take anything with them when they left the property about 20 minutes after arriving. Less than an hour before the New York raid, some 2,000 miles away, Busfield had turned himself into the Albuquerque Police Department after cops alleged he engaged in unlawful S-type conduct with 11-year-old twin boys while directing the Fox show The Cleaning Lady in 2024. And here is Timothy Busfield with his wife, Melisa Gilbert, in an undated Instagram post in front of what looks like a cabin called Cove. The Field of Dreams actor has denied the accusations, maintaining he did not do anything to those little boys. In a video message his lawyer shared with TMZ. Here's Melisa Gilbert looking more like her Little House on the Prairie days, outside what appears to be her home, according to the New York Post. And it looks like she's selling popcorn, honey, and Hershey bars. Your guess is as good as mine. Laura Ingalls. I loved Little House on the Prairie so much. Quote, "They're all lies, and I did not do anything to those little boys," the 68-year-old said, "and I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team, and I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is all so wrong and all lies." Busfield, who's married to former child actress Melisa Gilbert, faces 2 counts of criminal misconduct against a minor, 1 for each child, according to a warrant issued on Friday by New Mexico police. The alleged CA began in 2022 when the boys were 7, according to court documents. A criminal investigation began in 2024 when a physician notified police about suspected SA after examining one of the children at the University of New Mexico Hospital, according to the complaint. Busfield's lawyer, Larry Stein, told the Post the disturbing allegations were driven by revenge. Stein claimed the boy's mother told an actress on the New Mexico set she wanted payback after her sons were cut from the show's final season. Attorneys for Warner Brothers, which produced The Cleaning Lady, told police that an earlier independent investigation into the accusations found no evidence to support the claims. The complaint alleged. Always at least 2 sides to every story, right? Jody Callahan says, oh my God, I would be seeing red. Great point. Great point, Deborah. Why no chaperone on set for these kids? Great point. Usually the parent is the guardian who is on set, or they have someone who is the guardian and always with them. And so I too am confused. I'm not going to rush to judgment on this either, because we always say here, innocent until proven guilty. Every defendant is innocent until proven guilty. But methinks he might need, there's always 3 sides, right? Your side, my side, and the truth. Methinks Alan Jackson would be a good fit for this case. He did represent Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey on similar type allegations. Harvey Weinstein was convicted, however. And Melisa Gilbert is standing by her husband, Timothy Busfield, after the embattled West Wing actor turned himself into New Mexico authorities on child SA charges. So she's right there. She's not going to make any public statements at this time, but she says that she is standing by her man. Let's take a look at the presser from today. There was a presser just
from jail and a phone.
That's the Los Gatos mom. Wait, 1 second. I don't know why. Oh, please. Sometimes you get so prepared and you have everything all ready for you guys. And then what happens is you cut and paste the wrong link. It happens. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. Here, as you know, I like to go to local news for everything local. And this is KOAT. I believe that's an Albuquerque station. Sorry, but they don't have captions. Hopefully you can hear it. If not, I can boost the volume. And here we go. This is from a couple hours ago, but this is today's press conference. And this is the district attorney, I believe. Remember one time we thought we were watching a district attorney, and it turned out to be the sheriff's PR person. That was in the Sarah Grace Patrick case. I remember that. And we thought it was the district attorney, and it wasn't. We were sandbagged. All right, this is today's press conference, and this is KOAT.
News conference today is because of the significant public attention this case has. News conference today is because of the significant
You hear it okay?
public attention this case has generated. This news conference provides us with an opportunity for our office to address the numerous media inquiries all at once. First and foremost, it's important to emphasize that the defendant, Timothy Busfield, is presumed innocent and until and unless he is proven guilty in a court of law. I want to go over the timeline of the recent events in this case. An arrest warrant for the defendant.
I had to check the speed because it sounded to me like he's on slow speed, but it's on normal speed. Look, Flanagan in Canada is like Flanagan, not Daubert. I love it. Never froze in Canada, so it's an us problem here in the U.S. Here we go.
Was issued on January 9th, 2026, and approved by my office. 5 days later, the defendant voluntarily turned himself in and was booked into the Metropolitan Detention Center in Albuquerque on January 13th. The defendant is currently charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual contact of a minor, child under 13, and 1 count of child abuse. Under New Mexico law, each count of criminal sexual contact carries up to 6 years of incarceration, and child abuse carries up to 3 years. On Wednesday, the defendant made his initial appearance before a Metropolitan Court judge. At the hearing, the judge ordered the defendant be detained at this time due to our request that he remain in custody pending trial.
Okay, he's still in custody. Make sure your YouTube app is updated too, because maybe they're working on a fix for it. So if you're watching like on your phone through the YouTube app, that could also be an issue for you. Just some helpful hints from the chat. And creating through chaos as a DA stating someone's innocent until proven guilty is a nice thing to hear.
The district attorney's office routinely files pretrial detention motions involving cases that have these types of charges. Our office has indeed filed a motion for pretrial detention, requesting that the defendant remain in custody while his case proceeds through the courts. The case has now been transferred to district court. Judge Murphy will have a hearing on January 20th at 2 p.m. to determine whether the defendant will remain in custody or be released pending trial. After that hearing, we will bring formal charges against the defendant. The defendant will be arraigned on the formal charges. The court will then set a scheduling conference where deadlines will be established, at which time a trial date will be set. As with all criminal cases referred to my office, my prosecutors will fully evaluate this matter and proceed based on the evidence and in the interest of justice. Anyone with information relating to this matter should contact law enforcement. Our priority is to protect the rights of everyone involved. That is why at this time, we will not discuss the facts of this case. We understand, trust me, I understand. I understand there is great interest regarding the facts and the specifics of this matter. But my first obligation and the obligation of my office is to ensure the integrity of this process. The rules of professional conduct are clear that prosecutors should try cases in the courtroom and not in the media.
Oh,
And that is what we
try cases in the courtroom and not in the media, unlike, our friend Michael Morrissey, that district attorney who's announced that he's not running again. If you guys didn't catch that news the other day, that's crazy, right? The arrest warrant was issued for him on the 9th. He did not turn himself in until 5 days later. People saying maybe he wasn't running, maybe he was just driving in New Mexico, but I seem to remember reading that he couldn't be found. So there's that. I don't know what he was doing. I'm not going to speculate.
intend to do. Now, based on what I've just told you, if there are questions, I'm happy to answer them, but recognize, please, that I'm going to be limited because, as I said, I'm not going to discuss the specific facts of this case. The professional rules of conduct don't allow me to do that. So if there are things I can answer in a general sense, I will, but and I know they may be frustrated, but I just want you all to know one of the reasons I had this was because our office has been bombarded, and we welcome, and we're transparent. We welcome the media and the fact that you all are seeking information. And there's been so many inquiries from across this country, across this state, and across the world, quite frankly, that we wanted to make sure that we could do this as much as possible at once so that we wouldn't have individual outlets being very, very frustrated with us. So with that said, is there a particular question that I can answer? Yes.
Have you guys received any additional calls from other potential victims? If so, how many?
Have you received any calls about any other potential victims? If so, how many? Usually I repeat the questions because sometimes it's very hard to hear the questions. If you have no problem hearing the questions, let me know. And I won't repeat the questions.
I'm not going to specifically address that. I will tell you that this matter is very much still under investigation.
You talked about patterns of grooming and behavior that was very inappropriate. Can you get into any of those details as far as what your investigators have uncovered?
I appreciate
Patterns of grooming and other details. Can you talk about that?
the question, and I think you were referring to, I didn't just speak to that, but I think you're referring to the arrest warrant and the criminal complaint. There are 3 documents currently filed in court. One of them is an arrest warrant and criminal complaint. Another one is a motion for pretrial detention. Those documents, if you want to look for answers to those particular questions, those documents I think you can see, and they contain the allegations in this matter. But I'm not just going to simply regurgitate those documents. It's not appropriate. But I will tell you that those documents do exist, and I encourage anyone who doesn't have a copy of any particular document to let us know or to go to the courts and get a copy, because you can get that. Yes, sir.
Yes, DA Bregman, is there concerns in a general sense that when someone is accused that they
Is there concerns in a general sense that when someone is accused,
post a video saying that they'll defend
that they should post a video saying that they'll defend the
allegations and then go all the way up to 9 Mile Hill and turn themselves
allegations and then go all the way up to 9 Mile Hill and turn themselves in?
into the jail?
Well, I'm not going to speak to the specifics of, and I think you're referring to the defendant in this matter. I'm not going to speak to specifics of what he did or didn't do prior to turning himself in. We're going to focus on presenting our case to the court. Our immediate focus is on that pretrial detention motion, and that's what we're going to concern ourselves with at this point. Yes.
Timothy Busfield's attorney says that he conducted an independent polygraph and passed.
Timothy Busfield's attorney says that he conducted an independent polygraph test and passed.
What does that say about your investigation? Is that something that would be admissible?
What does that say about your investigation? Is that something that would be admissible?
Well, I will tell you, I'm not going to speak to what the defendant's attorney is going to do or has done. I'm going to speak to what we are, the investigation that law enforcement is doing together with our office, and I'll speak to that, or our prosecutors will speak to that in a courtroom.
He's not going to answer that question, but typically, no, it would not be admissible.
Can you talk at all about just your concerns about these allegations? They are very serious.
Can you please speak to us about your concerns about these allegations? They are very serious.
No, I will say this in general. In this office, the district attorney's office in Albuquerque takes very seriously these type of charges, just like we do all the cases. Our job is to hold people accountable, and that's what we do. And obviously, I have personally tried cases involving child abuse and sexual assaults. And we focus on that in a big way in this office. We hold everybody accountable, and they're extremely serious.
Do you have a sense of a court date that has been set, or is that still being discussed?
Do you have a sense of a court date coming up, or is that something that still needs to be discussed?
So again, just to kind of talk about that specifically. So the pretrial detention motion that's going to be heard is the first next thing that's going to happen. That's January 20th at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Murphy. Next, after that, we'll be bringing after that hearing, we'll be bringing formal charges. Then he'll be arraigned. Then a pretrial conference, or a scheduling conference, if you will be set, in which deadlines and dates will be established by the court. And part of that will include a trial setting. So we don't know that yet. I will tell you that overall, most of the time, these type of cases take between a year and 18 months to complete. And I don't see why this shouldn't reflect the same kind of time frame. But again, I don't speak for judges and their dockets. They get to speak for themselves on that.
On January 20th, is there a chance that he will be released?
On January
That's completely
20th,
up to the judge.
is there a chance that he would be released on January 20th, which is the next conference at 2 p.m.?
That is absolutely right. There is a chance that he'll be released. That decision will be made by the judge. We are filing a pretrial detention motion, and our concerns are articulated in that, why we are asking the court to hold the defendant detained pending trial. It's pretty much laid out in that pretrial detention motion, and I would direct you to see what the reasons are for that, to that document, to see what the reasons are.
So will you fight that he be detained?
Excuse me?
Will you suggest that he should be detained?
Oh.
Will you suggest that he should be detained and held?
We already, the prosecution, the state of New Mexico has already filed that motion to detain him. Yes.
Can you talk about any of the previous history for Mr. Busfield?
No, but I won't do that right now. I will tell you
Can you talk about any of the previous history with Mr. Busfield?
that some of that is outlined in the documents that have been filed in court. Yes.
Can you tell us about your department that handles this type of case, that highlighting how many people that go after predators?
Can you tell us about your department that handles this kind of case, about how many people you have going after predators?
And then people that groom children.
And then people that groom children.
I'll tell you in general about my office. We have close to, I think, 120 prosecutors in this office.
It's a
We
big
have
office.
some of the most amazing, fantastic prosecutors who have done it many years, including child abuse and child sexual assaults. I'm very proud of them. They do hard work, and they bring justice for the people of this county. And they do great work. And I have been able to try cases with them as co-chairs in the courtroom, and I'm constantly impressed by their professionalism and their abilities in the courtroom. Yes.
You guys are requesting that he stays locked up during these court proceedings.
You guys are requesting that he stays locked up during these court proceedings.
Usually that's out of safety concerns for himself
Usually that's out of safety concerns for himself
or other people.
or
What is
other
it about
people.
Timothy Busfield that makes you concerned
What is it about Timothy Busfield that makes you concerned
if he is released?
Just
if he is released? Usually it's that they would be a danger to the community, but let's see what he says.
to be clear, we file motions routinely on cases like this that have the same type of charges. This is something we do, and it's not specific to this case. This is it may be in some respects, but overall, this is what we do. We ask for pretrial detention motions in cases like this, and certainly that is what we're doing in this case. Pretrial detention motions in general are filed because the DA's office believes that for the safety of the community's sake, it is important that they remain in custody because of the danger to the community, and no reasonable conditions can be set to guarantee that safety for the community. That's why we have filed our pretrial detention motions in cases across the board, and we file a lot of them. I think over last year we had over 800 defendants detained pretrial. In New Mexico, some time ago, we changed our bail system. We no longer really have the normal bail system. It's either you're in or you're out. And if you're out, it means the judge has determined that they can be conditions of release that can be fashioned that will secure the safety of the community. If you're not out, then there's not, the judge, at least in the judge's opinion, there's not things that can be put in place to preserve the safety of the community.
So he's clearly saying that he's not getting special treatment because he's a celebrity. We're not asking to hold him just because he's a celebrity. We do that in every case of a similar nature.
NDA Bregman, Timothy Busfield is defending himself, going on camera saying that these are.
And District Attorney Bregman, Timothy Busfield is defending himself, going on camera, saying that these allegations
all lies. How
are lies.
confident are you that this case
How
is
confident are
solid?
you that
Well-
this case is what? Solvable? Hold on.
These are all lies. How confident are you that this case is solid?
Oh, that this case is solid.
Well, listen, this, I'll just talk in general, and I think you'll hear my answer on that. I don't specifically, this office, we have a very clear, high standard of professionalism. We don't bring cases forward. We don't agree to prosecute any case unless we believe beyond a reasonable doubt that we can convict them.
No doubt.
Beyond a reasonable doubt, is what I said.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. And she said, no doubt. Like, you have no doubt. And he said, beyond a reasonable doubt. Now my chat is frozen, but only on StreamYard. So maybe it's a StreamYard issue today. If it's not freezing for you on other people's channels, maybe they don't use StreamYard. I don't know.
Do you have any doubts?
So I'm not.
Do you have any doubts? I'm sorry, Madam Reporter, is this your first day on the job? Do you think a district attorney would ever answer that question? Do you have any doubts? Wow.
Going to get into that kind of an answer. We are going to argue and provide evidence to a jury of his peers in the future, and we'll wait till then to comment. Okay. Yes.
Mr. Bregman, is there any statement that you would like to say to any victims or potential victims that may come forward?
Is there anything that you'd like to say to any victim or potential victims that may come forward? Oh, yes. Look at Virginia saying, yes, that is Alex Bregman's dad. He played for the Red Sox and he's running for governor of New Mexico. Do people like him? Do we like him? Are we fans of this district attorney? Because it would be nice to see a good district attorney after the bad one that we've been spending so many years with.
No, listen, in general, not specifically even to this case whatsoever, of course, we want victims and survivors to always contact this office. We have a very large victims advocate unit here in this office. We're very proud of the work we do with all types of victims. But I would encourage, as I said earlier, anyone with information about this should please contact law enforcement, please. All right then. Thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney, running for governor of New Mexico. Well done. That's well done. I like that presser. Sometimes we watch pressers and we're just like, what? That was from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. And then I came across this. New allegations surfaced in California against Timothy Busfield going back to 1999. This has just happened. This aired 18 hours ago. This is from KCRA. I believe it's in California. And the victim's father is going to speak out. Let's listen to this video. Yes, Makazi G. Hello. Timothy Busfield, the actor, yes, from West Wing and from 30-something. And one of my personal favorites, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
In newly released court documents, we've learned that a father contacted authorities in New Mexico yesterday claiming Busfield sexually abused his daughter while she auditioned at Midtown's B Street Theater, which Busfield co-founded here in Sacramento. The father says that his daughter was 16 years old at the time, and the father says that Busfield asked the family to not report him if he went to therapy, and the father, a therapist himself, said he agreed.
KCRA3 Cecil.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Do you think he ever had therapy? You know my take on this. I don't think that pedos can be rehabilitated. That is my own personal opinion, not saying that he is one. But based on my more than 3-decade career representing victims and survivors of all kinds of things, including clergy essay against children here on Long Island that was a 15-year fight against the Catholic Church. It is my personal opinion that pedos cannot be rehabilitated with any kind of therapy. They used to send the priests here to a camp in Pennsylvania, a pedo camp. Yep, you heard that right. Came out in all the discovery that we did. Let me know what you think, but be careful about your language. And again, the chat on StreamYard is frozen, so maybe this is a StreamYard issue today. I don't know. Annoying.
Hannibal joins us live in the newsroom. So, Cecil, you spoke with that father. I'm sure this whole thing has been difficult for the family. What did he tell you? What have you learned?
Well, the father named in the complaint tells me he spoke to a detective just yesterday. We had a nearly 30-minute conversation with him, and we are not naming him to protect the identity of the alleged victim, who we have not been able to speak with directly. But he tells us this goes back to 1999, an incident that he says changed the trajectory of his daughter's life.
Oh, man, it always
yesterday
does.
I got a text from someone with a link to this story, and I clicked on it, and my gut fell out. My heart broke, and my gut fell to the floor because I feel partly responsible for.
New court documents from New Mexico name a father now alleging Tim Busfield sexually abused his daughter at B Street Theater in Sacramento.
Okay, not
the complaint said
Timothy Busfield did not abuse his own daughter. He abused this man's daughter. Let's not get it twisted.
As while auditioning for the defendant at B Street Theater, the 16-year-old reported that defendant kissed her and put his hands down her pants and touched her privates.
Oh, my God.
The defendant begged the family to not report to law enforcement if he received therapy. The father, who is a therapist, recalls that meeting with Busfield.
Obviously, you know, this guy's crying. He's showing remorse. He's apologizing. He promises never to do anything. Da 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 da. And so I said, basically, I'll tell you what. You know, he's basically begging me not to go to the police.
Do you regret not going to the police?
Dude, you're a therapist. You're a therapist. And a mandated reporter, right, as a therapist. I don't know, was mandated reporting a thing all the way back in 1999? And so you just, I don't know, I'm not going to blame him for anything. I'm not going to blame him for anything. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and let this play out.
Now? Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding after reading what I read yesterday? Absolutely.
In a statement to KCRA3, B Street Theater said in part, B Street Theater is aware of a report concerning Timothy Busfield regarding an incident alleged to have occurred at B Street Theater 25 years ago. It goes on to say, B Street Theater retained legal counsel at the time to conduct an internal investigation, and Mr. Busfield has not had any role in the organization since 2001. The father tells KCRA3.
It's very hard because I feel really guilty about this. Because as a therapist, I think I did the right thing. As a father, I did not.
Now, a lot still left to uncover with this story. So here is who we're still waiting to speak with.
Yeah, I want to know that too. Did they enter into some kind of settlement? Here's some money. Don't say anything. Flightless says he's capable. He's culpable in further harm. Shame on him. Well, that when I represented all of the, or many of the, at least 50 or 60 victims of clergy SA on Long Island, it was mind-boggling to me and horrifying to me that these priests were shuffled around so that they could abuse more kids. And I had one of the biggest offenders. I had clients who had been abused by him over a 20-year period in something like 7 different parishes because they didn't tell anybody. Watch out for Father so-and-so. He likes the little boys or the little girls or whatever his pleasure was. One of the priests was actually called Father Fingers because you can't make this up. Remember the case we were looking at earlier? The medical examiner's name was Dr. Dye, D-Y-E. You can't make it up.
Contacted the alleged victim, but have not been able to speak with her directly yet. We also contacted Buck Busfield, Timothy's brother, who is the co-founder of B Street Theater. We received a statement from B Street Theater, but we are still trying to speak with the board members directly. In the newsroom, Cecil Hannibal, KCRA 3 News.
Yes. The statistics show, and we've been over this before as well, because we talk about the clergy SA a lot here on this channel. Statistics show that a pedo will not be caught until he has committed abuse at least 100 times. That is what the statistics say. And that is what the statistics say. And Zoe, coming in with the right information. California has had some form of mandatory reporting laws since the 1980s. I mean, he was a therapist, but he was also the victim's father. So he wasn't seeing his daughter, I guess, in a doctor-patient role. But still, you would think, right? You would think. I'm not going to call out the father, but man. Jolie Douglas is here, and she says, I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they're doing open casting calls for Landman in Fort Worth. I may have to go. You should go. Go. Do it. Do the things. Buy the tickets. Make the memories. Do it all. Use My Soul says, Melanie, with what you know about TV production, do you think SVU's season will be 1 episode short, or would they film another one to replace it later? Well, I'm going to tell you right now because I have the article pulled up. So here we go. Let's take a look at what Deadline says about what is going to happen with that SVU episode. Timothy Busfield has already shot and is in the can, as they say. Law & Order SVU episode, guest starring Timothy Busfield, has been pulled following child SA charges. And there's it's a montage of Timothy Busfield with our girl, Olivia Benson, also known as Mariska Hargitay. Love her so much. If you guys haven't watched her documentary about her mother, Jane Mansfield, go watch it. NBC has pulled, and this is from yesterday, I believe. No, January 12th. What's today? Today's the 15th, 3 days ago. NBC has pulled the episode of Law & Order SVU, scheduled to air this Thursday, tonight, with Timothy Busfield as guest star. It will be replaced by an episode of the venerable crime drama that had been slated for the following Thursday, January 22nd. So they're going to move it. They're going to bump next week's up a week. And they may replace it. They may film another one to replace it. But that costs money. It's very expensive. Very, very, very expensive. And so I don't know. But SVU is one of the very few TV shows still out there that has like a 24 episode season. So many things are down to 10 episodes, right? The decision comes days after an arrest warrant was issued Friday for the actor, director, producer who was charged with 2 counts of criminal contact with a minor and CA. They stem from allegations of inappropriate behavior toward 2 child actors on the New Mexico set of the Fox Warner Brothers TV drama series, The Cleaning Lady, on which the 30-something alum served as director and executive producer. If found guilty, Busfield could face a minimum of 3 years behind bars. The matter first came to the authorities' attention in late 2024 when a doctor from the University of New Mexico Hospital contacted the Albuquerque Police Department in regard to a sexual essay investigation involving child actors who are brothers. The child actors who are brothers or twins, both born in 2014. So the police has been on notice of this since late 2024. Warner Brothers TV had conducted its own probe into allegations against Busfield after SAG-AFTRA received an anonymous complaint in early of 2025 of an incident on the cleaning lady set from December of 2024. Oh, so Warner Brothers has already done its own investigation. And I guess they found nothing because it resulted in Busfield being exonerated. The studio's cooperating with law enforcement. Okay, somebody anonymously reported it to SAG. Sex crimes are at the heart of Law & Order SVU. Busfield plays a judge in the pulled episode titled Corrosive that deals with abuse. It focuses on a troubling case involving a respected judge's life being threatened. The SVU team is called in to investigate, leading them down a complex path that connects to an anonymous video posted to their tip line. As the plot unfolds, the episode tackles heavy themes of trauma and recovery, showcasing the efforts of Detective Amanda Rollins, Kelly Gatos, to support a victim facing their past abuse. I love Amanda Rollins. I love Kelly Gatos. I'm so glad they brought her back because there was a lot of public uproar when they let her go. And Law and Order is SVU specifically is a very heavy show. And people, we need to discuss these things with our children. Yeah, minimum of 3 years because the lowest charge was a 3-year term if he's convicted. And the two top charges are up to 6 years. No, I don't know that Law and Order would know about his allegations because he wasn't filming that show when these allegations were made. The reason they pulled the episode for tonight is because they found out about them. But no, I mean, I don't think Warner Brothers has anything to do with Law and Order SVU. That's all Dick Wolf. And so there's no like public database for this, within SAG that I'm aware of, right? Mariska and Kelly are the best. And when Mariska was doing her press tour for the Jane Mansfield documentary that she wrote and directed and produced and starred in, she made it clear. I think she did Good Hang with Amy Poehler and a couple others. I think she did Call Her Daddy, right? They were all amazing. She made it very clear that the proper pronunciation of her first name is Mariska. Mariska. And she gets mad when people don't say it right. So I'm never going to say it wrong. Please come on my show, please. I would love that so much. Just kidding. Here's something else that happened to Timothy Busfield. He was dropped by his agent, Innovative Artists. Dropped him. And that was just yesterday. Dropped by Innovative is not where you want to be. That was the same day that he made his first court appearance. And a rep for the company confirmed to Deadline the actor and director was no longer with the agency, but declined comment further. He's been with Innovative for several years with a fair-sized team handling his career. And here's the allegations. In the papers, it says one of the children, called SL in official documents, told authorities that Busfield touched his poop and pee area. And then Busfield turned himself into Albuquerque police on January 13, having supposedly driven himself from the East Coast to New Mexico. We read about that earlier as well. The dramatic surrender to the Albuquerque PD came 5 days after an arrest warrant was issued for him, and U.S. Marshals were activated to apprehend him. Guess that's what they were doing at their Catskills home yesterday when they banging the door down. Widely expected to eventually say not guilty after proclaiming his innocence on Tuesday, he entered no plea. Yeah, and just before going to the authorities, he put out that video that we watched earlier from Jesse Weber. And so we wait. And I guess his next appearance is going to be on the 20th. And he's going to be in custody. Until then, if you guys are interested in following along, following this story, let me know. Sometimes the stories involving celebrities are, for some reason, you guys aren't that interested in, but let me know because I'm interested. Let me know what you think. Goblin Misfit says if they dropped him that quick, it sounds to me like they might have known. Well, they might have known, or there may have been other whispers of him from days gone by involving Jennifer Love Hewitt and maybe others. I'm not sure. Not proof, Goblin Misfit says, but I would not be surprised if they were aware and didn't care until it combusted. I mean, could be. I haven't done the deep dive into him and the allegations surrounding, but I did read that story about Jennifer Love Hewitt. Say you. Courtney H from Florida says, my guess is there are settlements that are going to come out now. Could be. Could be. Money talks, right? Gen X 1968 says, it sounds like it's been going on for a while. Karen DePasquale says, if he begs a victim to let him go to therapy, that's consciousness of guilt. Quinley's interested. Afton for Red says the theater he was involved in knew something in 2001. He hasn't been involved with them since then. It was also his brother's theater, right? Good point, Zoe. Or they have a policy to drop talent after any allegation as a form of risk management. Could be true. Tons of Fun says we've met so many co-stars of his at conventions we've attended. He was never part of them, and we always wondered why. That's interesting. Thunderhorse says my settlement agreement would be prison only. You guys are interested. Good. Bill says, Bill Donaros, does the therapist's father not become a mandatory reporter if he's related? Well, I don't want to get into the intricacies of that right now. But there's, doing the right thing and doing the legal thing. What do you guys think? If he's related and he's not treating her, if it's not a doctor-patient relationship, I don't think the mandated reporter law would apply to him if it was in effect at that time in 1999, which I believe it was because it's been around for a long time. There's doing the right thing and doing the legal thing. Chose to do the legal thing. I would love to know if there was a settlement in that case. Yeah, he was Poindexter from Revenge of the Nerds, too. Did I see the papers that Michael Cox is being sued for lying by a former police superintendent? The papers are on Suffolk Superior Court. You guys have sent me like 5 different lawsuits against Michael Cox, and I just haven't had the chance to read them yet. There's at least like 5 different lawsuits against him, which is not uncommon. I mean, they get sued all the time for lots of things as police commissioner, and so I have to read them before I can even talk about them. And Jody says the mandated reporter should always report regardless. Right. I know. It hurts my heart too. Proctorial misconduct said there were no allegations until they lost the part. Well, Warner Brothers did their own internal investigation and they found. Thank you, Music to My Soul, for your super chat as well. And Dom K 2993 said he ran when you guys were all saying in the chat that he ran. Did he have an arrest warrant though during those 5 days? Yes. Yes. And it was all over the news. So I don't think there's any way that he did not see it. And then you said, if he didn't, that's not running. I disagree because it was everywhere. It was all over the news. You couldn't miss it. You absolutely couldn't miss it. Stella by Teresa. Oh no, Stella by the Sea says I was in disbelief when my ex-husband was accused of SA. I chose to believe the 3-year-old child. Ugly to think about, but unfortunately it happens. I'm so sorry. Chardon said, breaking, Turtle Boy's hearing moved from 2 p.m. to 9 a.m. January 23rd. Thank you very much. I was going to tell everybody that, and you just reminded me. That is true. So for those of you who are going to support Aidan Carney at his hearing at Suffolk Superior Court in Massachusetts, it is no longer a 2 p.m. hearing. It is going to be a 9 a.m. hearing on January 23rd. And I think I had it in my calendar for noon. So whatever, it's going to be at 9 a.m. now. It has been changed. I haven't seen any papers. Kazi G, I know you're in the chat. Have you filed your response yet to the latest motion? Because I haven't seen it out there, but there's always something for us to talk about, it seems, in Massachusetts. Afton says there have been so many allegations for so long. When there's smoke, there's usually fire. Now the prosecutor has to prove it. That's right. So many people, says Melissa, already took the afternoon off to go support Turtle Boy. Oh, really? Well, looks like you're going to have to take the morning off too. That's unfortunate. There are new papers in the docket for Aaron Spencer. I'm going to set that. We're going to do that show tomorrow. Okay. We're going to do that show tomorrow I'm going to put it in for 10:30. All right. I'm going to set it up right now so that I don't forget, so that I can redirect you over there, because we have a lot of catching up to do on Aaron Spencer. Let me know if you guys still want to move on and talk about the case in Los Gatos, California that I want to tell you about, or if we're still having technical problems and glitching. Because in that case, we can just cover it another day. Let's see. All right. So we're going to start that. We're going to set that for tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. And after this stream, I will teleport you over there so that you can hit the reminder and you won't miss it. It's going to be just a generic thumbnail for now until I have an opportunity to go back and make that thumbnail. But there's a lot of filings on Aaron Spencer, a lot of filings, a lot of motions have been decided and not in his favor. And let me tell you what, they do not want Aaron Spencer to be the sheriff of Lono County. That's for sure, because this is not going to be a friendly trial. He's not getting friendly rulings. Let's just put it that way. Hold please for 1 second. Not one bit. If you missed the morning stream, we did a morning stream comparing and contrasting kind of the cases of Monique and Spencer Tepe, and the case of Charity Bialis in Arkansas. And that is a tragic, tragic case. Nobody's yet been arrested in the case of Charity Bialis, and it is horrifying. She and her 2 6-year-old twins were found shot dead on December 5th, 2025 in their mansion in Arkansas. And it seems pretty obvious to us, but there's been no arrest at all. And in my opinion, it's not getting the kind of coverage that the Tepe case got. And I want to change that. And I want you guys to help me change that, because I think it needs a lot more attention. All right. I set up the redirect. We are all good. On to what say you. What say you? Yes. Music My Soul says, didn't Aidan judge say he wanted all the papers from both sides in by January 13th, 10 days before the hearing? Yes. Wonder if he will stick to that. Well, there's been no filings yet. I think it was due today or yesterday or the day before, and I haven't seen it. Hasn't hit the docket. It would usually be in my inbox by now, and it is not. Flightless says, I think it's freezing when StreamYard isn't in focus. Check the program for settings that may have been changed in an update. When it's not in focus, well, my camera is on autofocus. Let me see. I have a whole new system here. So it could be something in my settings in my Mac Studio or whatever this thing is that I got. It could be in the StreamYard settings. It could be in, I'm in focus, right? I've got a separate, an external webcam, not the camera, meaning you minimize StreamYard to look at a different program. Yeah, but I'm just switching to a different tab in the same monitor that I'm on to read to you. So like I'm not minimizing it. So I don't know. It's annoying me though. Connie says, thanks, Melanie. I think the case in Arkansas needs a lot more coverage. I think so too. I think so too. And tomorrow when we're going back to Aaron Spencer, you're going to see what I mean. Judge Barbara Elmore is no friendly. That's for sure. She doesn't want any evidence in about Michael Fossler's reputation in any other community other than Lonoke County. And we know about what Michael Fossler was up to when he was in Indiana and the things he did there when he was the chief of police in Hamlet, Indiana. But Barbara Elmore doesn't want any of that stuff in, only the stuff that he did in the actual county of Lonoke. So that's horrific. Thanks, Zoe. It's horrific. Prayers for Aaron Spencer. Are Bob and Allie going to go to the trial? Bob and Allie from Defense Diaries, are they going to be boots on the ground in Arkansas? Because there's not going to be any live streaming. It's boots on the ground only. And there was an order that came out yesterday from Judge Barbara Elmore that there's only going to be 55 seats in the courtroom available for the trial. 55 seats, including family members, witnesses, law enforcement. So they might be waiting in line all night, as some people had to do for the Richard Allen trial in Indiana, in the rain and the sleet and the terrible weather. Andrea Burkhart was there. Bob Mata was there. Lawyer Lee was there and others, and they had to wait overnight in those soccer mom chairs and hire line sitters for them. And they're going. Good. But yes, Aunt Bibi, thanks, Priscilla. She's trying to keep people out. She sure is. And I wish that some media would make a motion to put the cameras in there. Law and Crime, Court TV, where are you when we need you? We need you in the courtroom to stream the Aaron Spencer trial. And if Judge Barbara Elmore doesn't allow it, go to the Supreme Court. Come on, man. Why are you not fighting for journalistic rights? Why are you not covering Aiden Carney's story? As a reporters, you should be covering, that should be the most important story to you. The most important story to you should be the ones involving journalists and your right and the public's access to these types of trials, because Barbara Elmore, the judge, and Barbara Elmore, the judge who is trying the Aaron Spencer case, is the same judge who let Michael Fossler out on bail with a $5,000 pass. Here you go. Michael Fossler was charged with, if you're not familiar with the case, 43 felonies for the grape and essay of Aaron Spencer's daughter. Judge Barbara Elmore is the one who let him out on the $5,000 bail. So he was out there, which gave him the opportunity to continue to groom, contact, and grape Aaron Spencer's daughter, who was 13, 14 at the time. And because of Judge Barbara Elmore, in my opinion, Michael Fossler was able to commit more heinous crimes on Aaron Spencer's daughter, which eventually resulted in Michael Fossler kidnapping her. And don't tell me she went on her own, because a 14-year-old cannot consent. Okay, let's get that straight. Grooming is a real thing. This 68-year-old man, I think he was 68, right? Michael Fossler, who used to be in another life chief of police in Hamlet, Indiana, where he abused another girl who came forward in the 80s. Michael Fossler kidnapped Aaron Spencer's daughter, and Aaron Spencer realized when the dog, thank God for the dog, barking in the middle of the night, that his daughter was gone from her bed. It was stuffed to make it look like she was still there. Went out in his truck I think Heather, his wife, I think Heather called 911 and said, my daughter's missing. There's this guy we have a restraining order against, piece of paper, right? Just a piece of paper. And because there were some angels watching, perhaps, Aaron Spencer happened upon Michael Fossler driving back to Aaron Spencer's house with his daughter in the passenger seat. And in a fit of panic, perhaps, maybe, something happened, ran him off the road, tried to get his daughter. Fossler was, maybe reaching for a gun. I guess we'll hear the story because Aaron Spencer is going to be testifying. The judge also does not want to allow an SA expert to come in and talk about grooming and stuff. So there's that. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about on Aaron Spencer. You're not going to want to miss that tomorrow. And what had happened was Aaron Spencer was able to run the truck off the road, get a hold of his daughter, and pumped Michael Fossler full of lead. And, sometimes those things happen. And then called 911 and said, hey, remember that guy I told you that we have a restraining against about my daughter, a restraining order for my daughter? Well, here's his location. You might want to come and check him out. See how he's doing. While in the commission of a felony, i.e. graping and kidnapping Aaron Spencer's daughter, he happened to wind up dead at the hands of a hero father, in my opinion. But now Lono County, in fact, that same judge is going to try the case for murder against Aaron Spencer, who has now decided, and he's announced his candidacy for Lono County Sheriff. He's a combat veteran and a stand-up guy, and this is outrageous. Thank you, Amanda Erickson, who is from Arkansas, says Elmore isn't the only one. I see you figured out how to change your name back. Unless you were here before under another name, under a different account. Journeys of Peace said, what would this judge be allowing if Michael Fossler was on trial? Something very similar happened, and we covered it. And the details are escaping me right now, but it was another kid. I think he was 18 years old. Same set of circumstances. Child grape, let out on very low bail, went to a different county where he then graped another child, and then they caught him, and now they're holding him on something like $500,000 in bail. Also in Arkansas. I don't know what's happening here, but again, chat frozen on StreamYard. Maybe it is a StreamYard issue. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you about this quickly. Let's flip over to Shannon O'Connor. Shannon O'Connor, Los Gatos, California, lived in a $4 million mansion. Her trial has started. It started in the beginning of December. It's probably not going to be over until March. And I haven't seen a lot of press about it. Let me know if you had. Maybe it's maybe in California, they're talking about it a lot. She's known as the Los Gatos party mom. She's got a trial that is currently ongoing in the Santa Clara County Superior Court. And there's been a lot of delays over the past several years. And the trial officially, opening statements were on December 1, 2025. I haven't seen any, there's no video, I guess. There's no cameras in the courtroom up there in Santa Clara County. And there's been a lot of testimony this week. It is in front of Judge Elizabeth Peterson in Santa Clara County. And it is supposed to last several more weeks. And jury deliberations are currently slated to begin in March of 2026. On January 6, 2026, a juror was dismissed for reading news coverage of the case during the holiday break. And this is crazy. So Shannon O'Connor is facing 63 criminal charges, including 20 felonies related to Los Gatos. Yeah, Los Gatos. Yeah, I know. It's not, I'm like Los Gatos. Yeah, it's like Los Gatos. That's the way I'm going to play a video and they pronounce it totally differently than I do. 63 criminal charges, including 20 felonies related to child endangerment and aiding and abetting SA, as well as 43 misdemeanors for furnishing alcohol to minors. Yeah, she was just the cool mom, you guys. She was just the cool mom. Prosecutors allege that between 2020 and 2021, she hosted parties for her son and his friends, where she encouraged underage drinking and non-consensual S-type activity among the children. And it is worth pointing out that these kids were like going into 9th grade at the time. Going into 9th grade. She's pleaded not guilty to all charges, and she's now speaking out from jail. There are some jailhouse calls. And it's wild. Here's the best article that I found on it from KRON Channel 4. And I'll read to you about some of the testimony. Let's see if I can get some pictures for you in the meantime. Hang on. You know who's always got the best pictures? Yeah, wealthy party mom, age 50. Here's the headline. Wealthy party mom, 50, rented mansion and encouraged drunk high schoolers to have S while she watched. She's the California party mom. So she could, it says she has appeared in court after allegedly hosting rambunctious high school parties so she could watch drunk minors have relations, let's just say. Apparently her husband was away. Let's take a look at the slideshow provided to us by the Daily Mail. Los Gatos. But Kimberly, you're from New York City. It's Northern California. I know that. Here's her mugshot. 50-year-old known as the party mom was equated to one of the popular girls by the young teenage boys who attended her parties. Shannon O'Connor, that was her, while in custody. 50 is on trial for allegedly supplying alcohol to minors and encouraging them to have relations as she watched. Here she is in one of her court appearances. She was arrested in October of 2021 following a year of rambunctious partying. She had a glow down. She absolutely had a glow down. No doubt. In October of 2020, there was $9,000 worth of damages done at this house that she rented for a birthday party in Santa Cruz. And she was allegedly known for hosting ruckus parties at her $5 million, now it's a $5 million home, her $5 million California home while her husband was away. Yeah. According to is there any video with this? Parents trusted her 100%. A witness testified recently. And this was just an article from January 6th, so it's in the past few weeks. This trial is going to go on for a couple more weeks. It's insane. A witness who testified for the Los Gatos party mom trial on Tuesday being beginning of January, said the mother and a large group of drunk teenagers turned a fancy beach house into an animal house. The mother, Shannon O'Connor, rented the Santa Cruz vacation home to host her son's birthday celebrations in October of 2020. Wild antics from underage drinkers caused about $9,000 in damages. The homeowner testified to a jury in the Santa Clara County Hall of Justice. O'Connor, age 50, is accused of pressuring intoxicated Los Gatos high school students to engage in sexual activities with each other at secret parties while the mother watched for her own gratification. Court documents state prosecutors are attempting to prove to a jury that the mother's parties crossed the line into criminal acts. The beach house's exterior is surrounded by surveillance cameras. When the homeowner watched footage from his cameras, his first thought was, oh my God. Videos played in court showed boys chugging alcohol, throwing up, and bashing beer cans against their heads until the cans exploded. It's the screen switch thing. All right, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to fix it because it's really annoying. It's really annoying you. So if it's really annoying you, it's really annoying me. Quote, it's a valuable property. We have 2 beautiful bathrooms. The boys peed everywhere around the yard, really acting like a bunch of hooligans, the homeowner testified. Surveillance cameras recorded DoorDash drivers carrying boxes of liquor and beer to the front door. It just kept coming and coming. It was like 20 beers for each kid, copious amounts of alcohol. I was astounded, the homeowner said. The house was trashed, he said. Cameras also recorded girls arriving at the ruckus party and showed O'Connor hanging out with the teens as the only adult present. After a police investigation uncovered evidence about what happened at O'Connor's parties, parents who live in the affluent, tightly knit community of Los Gatos were left reeling with shock and outrage. Party guests were freshman boys and football players who were friends with her son. This is freshmen in high school, 9th grade. O'Connor decided which girls were pretty and trustworthy enough to make the guest list and keep the party secret, according to witnesses. A mother testified during the trial that she was friends with O'Connor and thought she was a responsible mom. Like other parents, other local parents, she trusted O'Connor around her son, the mother testified. I 100% trusted her. As a mom, I have guilt for not seeing signs sooner, she said to the jury. Investigators said most of Party Mom's distributing events? Distributing events? You mean disturbing? I don't know, it says distributing. Disturbing events were held at her mansion while her husband was away. Prosecutors played a recorded phone call made by O'Connor to the Los Gatos Police Department on October 28th of 2020. Am I getting better with my pronunciation of Los Gatos? Look, it's spelled Los Gatos, which means cats, the cats in Spanish. But if you're a local, I guess you don't pronounce it that way. I'm learning. Did you guys see the video? So many of you sent me the video of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Jimmy Fallon pronouncing every single town in Massachusetts correctly. I loved it so much. So here's the recorded phone call made by the defendant, O'Connor, to the Los Gatos Police Department on October 28th of 2020. During the call, O'Connor tells the dispatcher that she's organizing a Halloween social gathering for about 16 kids and parents. O'Connor said she's calling to make sure police officers did not respond to any noise complaints made against her home between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Look at her getting out there prophylactically, excuse the pun, because this is disgusting. Sometimes we have to laugh or we're just going to cry all the time. Quote, we're going to be having a gathering on Halloween. We always get the cops called on us if we play music. Tiny things, she said. The dispatcher said she would give patrol officers a heads up. O'Connor told the dispatcher that if the officers arrived at her front door, no one would answer or let them inside. I pay you a salary, Coppa. Can't you just hear it? Like, do you know who I am? Living in her $5 million mansion. Quote, because of COVID, it's going to be an outdoor party only. We won't answer the door, O'Connor told the dispatcher. All right. Okay. Prepare yourself. For the testimony of John Doe, number 5, a boy who went to the 2020 Halloween party. StreamYard is losing it tonight. Is it? The freezing is when I change to a different screen. I don't know. That was a rental that she just rented like for the one night. I think it was like $9,000 in damages. She rented that house for one night, but her house is a $5 million house. So there it is. All right. So John Doe, number 5, was a boy who went to the 2020 Halloween party. He testified that more than 30 teenagers attended. Maybe it's when I'm screen sharing, because right now I turned off the screen sharing button. John Doe 5 said there were no adults at the party because O'Connor and her husband left. Party mom had told the teens where she hid bottles of hard liquor and boxes of beer in the backyard, he said. Some teens at the unsupervised party binge drank, swam in O'Connor's pool and jacuzzi, and passed out. Wow. They're in 9th grade. This is when we need Cardi B. Hello. John Doe 5 said O'Connor's backyard booze was the biggest stockpile of alcohol he's ever seen. At several other secret parties organized by O'Connor, she was the only adult present, investigators said. O'Connor's relationships with her son's friends went beyond being considered a cool mom, according to testimony. John Doe 5 said O'Connor was more like one of the popular girls in the group, and she controlled which teenagers were excluded or included around the popular crowd. Wow, just a normal mom, right? Just a normal mom. O'Connor also tried to control who dated who, he testified. Just wow. Did she really have that no life? Like no life? That she became so involved with her son and their friends? They're like 13 and 14 years old. After a prosecutor asked John Doe 5 why he and other boys felt like it was normal to frequently talk to a woman in her 40s about S, he said, looking back on it, it's pretty weird. In 2020, the COVID pandemic left high school students without regular social opportunities, he added. Prosecutors showed the jury group Snapchat messages sent between O'Connor and teens. She allegedly used Snapchat to communicate without the teens' parents' knowledge, and she named their group chat, quote, Fox News. Just when you thought you couldn't make it up. Okay? Do not let parents of your kids' friends communicate with your kids directly. I remember this happened to me with one of my twins when they were like in 9th grade. And one of these crazy moms was like texting my daughter. And I was like, what is this woman doing? She's nuts. And I had to, take the reins into my own hand and call this woman and give her talking to. Like, you do not contact my daughter directly. And it was all about like high school drama. I'm like, are you kidding me? How dare you? How dare you? We have an emoji for that. Remember the how dare you emoji? It's in here. There it is. Let's see some how dare you emojis in the chat. Detectives arrested party mom in October of 2021. When they arrived at her home to make the arrest, she was with 12 teens who had slept over the night before, police said. A grand jury indicted O'Connor on 63 charges, including child M. That word that YouTube doesn't like. It's not murder, though. It's child molestation. Furnishing alcohol to minors and endangering or injuring the health of a child. She has pleaded not guilty to all charges. After her son's Santa Cruz Beach House birthday party, the homeowner threatened to file a lawsuit against O'Connor if she did not pay $9,000 in damages. She was defiant. She blew it off like it was no big deal. We had to hire a lawyer, he testified. The homeowner said he confronted the mother about her guest's underage drinking and warned that a lawsuit would make the incident public knowledge. And he had video of all of it. He testified that O'Connor finally agreed to pay, but she would only pay in smaller amounts broken up over months so that her husband would not find out. How much did this guy travel that she was allowed to do this for so long and hurt so many kids? A big question hanging over the lengthy trial is, will O'Connor take the stand and testify in her own defense? And as I said before, the trial is ongoing and is expected to go into at least March. I know the screen share is going to screw us up and I may freeze, but I want you to see this piece about the jail calls. So we're going to have to suffer through it again. Thank you for troubleshooting it with me anyway, because I think we have figured out what the problem is. And I think it has to do with the screen sharing and StreamYard. The greatest thing about having no service yesterday with Verizon is that I didn't get 300 spam calls telling me that I've been approved for a loan. And they have a new spiel now. It's like, hey, this is Riley from the loan department. Just calling to tell you that, you've been approved for a loan, blah, 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 blah. It's all spam. It all comes from 888 numbers and 844 numbers and 833 numbers. And anytime they start a call with, hey, it's Riley. Hey, when did we lose our professionalism of saying hello? And now people just say, hey, and it's a recording and I don't know how to stop it. Does the do not call registry still exist? Do they still exist? Does anybody abide by it? Does anyone know? It was so nice not getting my phone at least 15 times a day. And they leave messages and I do all the things they say. Let it ring and ring and ring. Don't even hit reject, because then they know it's a working number and they're still going to call you forever and ever and ever. Here's NBC, Bay Area, doing the Lord's work. And they got her to talk from jail, probably against her attorney's advice. I'm sure it was against her attorney's advice, but she really, really, really wants to tell her story. Shannon does. And so here's NBC from the Bay Area doing the Lord's work. Listen up. Well, if we can get it to play.
Talking from jail in a phone interview from the Elwood Correctional Facility, we're hearing from Shannon O'Connor. After more than 4 years in custody, the Los Gatos mother is now on trial for dozens of child abuse charges.
This is the mom accused of hosting alcohol-fueled.
She said Los Gatos. Los Gatos? Los Gatos? It sounds like Los Gatos, like Los Gatos, Los Gatos. All right, I'm going to get it.
Parties for her.
Only if you're from there, tell me how to pronounce it. Los Gatos? Scott, because she said, I'm going to, wait, take it back. I'm a stickler about my pronunciation. Okay, here we go.
Talking from jail in a phone interview from the Elwood Correctional Facility, we're hearing from Shannon O'Connor. After more than 4 years in custody, the Los Gatos mother is now on trial for dozens of child abuse charges.
This is the mom accused of hosting alcohol-fueled parties for her son and his underage friends. O'Connor is now apologizing. Investigative reporter Candace Wynn has been speaking with her for years, and this time it's on the record. Candace.
She's just a normal mom speaking out from jail. I can see you, Thundersource. I can see you. But my chat was frozen. But I can see you now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? She's been in jail for 4 years. Yes, there are killers that get bail. That's right. That's right. There are. Innocent until proven guilty, but I think there's video. Okay, here you go. This was published. When was this published? 1 week ago. 1 week ago.
I've been speaking to her for years while she's been in jail. For the first time, she agreed to talk with me on the record and let me record our conversation to use in a story. She actually called me early last month during her ongoing trial. We planned to hold off airing the interview until the trial was over, but she's been calling multiple news outlets and one published their interview. So we decided.
She's like, I had the scoop. I've been talking to this woman in prison, in jail. She's in jail, not prison yet, because she's still being held, innocent until proven guilty. I've been talking to her for years. And then somebody else scooped me and they started airing it. So of course I'm going to air it. Now I'm going to air it. She wants everyone. She's telling us everything. Let's listen to that a little bit again. Scooch, scooch. She's been talking to her for years. She's like, I've been doing the work. I've been doing the Lord's work. And somebody else scooped me. So now I'm gonna publish it too.
Record our conversation to use. First time she agreed. I've been speaking to her for years while she's been in jail. For the first time, she agreed to talk with me on the record and let me record our conversation to use in a story. She actually called me early last month during her ongoing trial. We planned to hold off airing the interview until the trial was over, but she's been calling multiple news outlets and one published their interview. So we decided to air the story now. O'Connor says she wants her side told, even against the advice of her attorney.
I'm sorry if.
Wait, okay, I got to move the captions out of the way. And here's her picture. On the left, Shannon O'Connor, currently being held in jail somewhere in the Bay Area.
I contributed to any stress, to any emotional distress. I really did embrace these kids.
Days into her long.
I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry if I contributed to any emotional distress. Emotional distress. Talk about it. This is a narcissist apology. Okay. This is what you would call a narcissist apology. She's not sorry for what she did. I'm sorry if I caused you any emotional distress or stress.
Long-awaited criminal trial, jailhouse calls from Shannon O'Connor started coming into my phone after years of visiting her at Elmwood Correctional Facility, letters in the mail, and messages through her friends and family. The Los Gatos mother of two was ready to speak with me to break her silence publicly.
These were, like a family, some of these teenagers, and I cared for them.
You cared for them to the point where you were setting them up to have relations in front of you so you could watch. This is vile. If anybody's local and you're going to the courthouse to watch this trial, or if you've been sitting in the courthouse watching this trial in Santa Clara, please, by all means, let me know. And if anybody knows anybody who's locally reporting on this or live tweeting from the courtroom, this is the case that I'm interested in. And again, StreamYard the comments have frozen for me. So I think it's definitely a StreamYard issue. The thing with StreamYard is it's web-based, right? So it's nothing, it's not like an app or something that I need to update. I don't stream directly through YouTube. I stream through StreamYard and it is web-based. I'm streaming it through a Google browser. Like, I don't know. If anybody has any tips or tricks or thoughts, you can email them to me because I can't see the chat. And I'll look at them tonight and see if I can fix it.
O'Connor faces 63 criminal charges, mostly child endangerment, after a grand jury indicted her 2 years ago. Prosecutors allege during the COVID lockdown, she hosted private parties for underage teens, supplied them with vodka and Fireball whiskey, and encouraged non-consensual sexual activity between some of the teens, 14 and 15 at the time. O'Connor adamantly denies she encouraged sexual misconduct, and earlier in the court case, she pleaded not guilty.
Okay, wait. If you can come back to your screen right now, that's her. That's her dressed up for court. Black suit, black rimmed eyeglasses, hair, not having a dye job in a long time. We see that a lot. People's hair color changes in under the stressors of the jail system. They were 14 and 15 years old. Do you think she's looking more professional with her glasses on? And Ginger's here, and Ginger must be local because she says, I'm sure the kids didn't think it was odd because the high school is known for covering up SA and harassment of students for decades. Oh, that's interesting. Sam says, I'm corporate IT. If StreamYard uses Google Meet as a backbone, there's a sharing issue with Max. But that's interesting. Maybe I should try a different browser and do it that way. Okay, we'll try that tomorrow. Corporate IT. Oh, my favorite department is the IT department. My heart. Jessica says, no, she looks so wrong and like a completely different person. Zoe says, web-based applications rely on internet service providers across the globe, like Verizon, to move the data from end user to cloud servers. It can take days to rebalance web traffic after disruption. I love you guys so much. You're the greatest. Go Rainbow Warriors. That's all I can say. I need merch. All right. I'm going to keep going. She encouraged non-consensual SA.
Denies she encouraged sexual misconduct, and earlier in the court case, she pleaded not guilty to all charges.
It's so unfair. A lot of these stories are just not true.
It's so unfair. It's so unfair. Why am I the one in jail when all these other mommies, all these other normal moms are also giving our 14-year-olds alcohol? Why am I the one getting in trouble? It's so unfair.
And I've been affected deeply by these stories. I've been beat up multiple times. They call me a pedophile. They think I'm this rapist.
Oh, so she's getting beat up in jail. Innocent until proven guilty, right? Innocent, we have to treat her just as we would any other accused defendant. Innocent until proven guilty. If and when proven guilty, but she's been beat up in jail and they're calling her a pedo. They think she's a rapist and they think that she's a horrible monster. And that is the way, unfortunately, for her, that people accused of such things are treated in jail by the other inmates like they're the lowest of the low, right?
I think that I'm a horrible monster.
The main reason she's agreeing to this interview, O'Connor says, is because she feels her Fourth Amendment rights, unreasonable search and seizure, are being violated. She claims evidence from both her and her son's phones that was collected from outside the approved search warrant dates is being used against her in trial. Her attorney has raised this claim in court and has requested a mistrial.
I thought I would get a fair chance. That was my hope to begin with, was to be able to tell my story and tell the truth about everything that happened.
But we know about constitutional issues here. Look, I'm a proceduralist, I'm a constitutionalist, and we are all entitled to our rights under the Constitution. And if they went outside the scope of the warrant, that's a problem. I'd need the papers to look at them, to opine. But she said, she says, I thought I would get a fair chance, because my hope to begin with was to be able to tell my story and tell the truth about everything that happened. Okay, we want to hear everything. You could testify and tell us that way.
And unfortunately, this whole process has been flawed, and I don't feel as though I will get a fair jury at this point.
We reached out to the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. In a statement, they said the defendant stands accused of serious crimes against children, and that case is receiving evidence and witness testimony in an ongoing jury trial. We will continue to try the case in courtroom 39 at the Hall of Justice and not elsewhere, despite the comments of the defendant outside of court.
Okay, that's what's happening. Courtroom 39 at the Hall of Justice in Santa Clara. If you guys want to go to the trial and report back, by all means. It's going to be going on through March.
Of justice and not elsewhere, despite the comments of the defendant outside of court.
What do you want to say to some of your harshest critics, some of the parents and their kids who have really spoken out against you?
I'd like to say that nothing was intentional. These teenagers were in a COVID lockdown.
Nothing was intentional. You provided them with the alcohol. Who does that for 14-year-olds? Who does that? We have a social host law here in New York, and it's no joke. If there's a party at your house and you're providing alcohol to underage kids, even if they're 20, you're going to jail.
They were desperate for socialization. They were trying to find any outlet possible. They were experimenting with alcohol. Many parents knew this. I knew this as well. There was almost no stopping it. These teenagers drank at multiple people's homes, not just mine.
Is there anything you're sorry for that you do hold yourself responsible for?
Absolutely. I'm sorry for what everyone has had to go through. I never intended for any harm to happen to these kids, and I'm so sorry it did. I just want to say that I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a human. I was too lenient. I should have had things locked up more carefully.
There's video of DoorDash drivers arriving with alcohol. Hello? I got to get Cardi B onto the system. It wasn't the only time when you weren't there. You were also supplying them. There's allegations, but she's blaming everybody else. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. She wanted to be the cool mom, says Phoebe. She wanted to be the cool mom. Apparently she decided who was good enough to come to these parties too. So she was also making up the invite list. Nothing was intentional. Does not scream she's innocent. Right. Some of these girls were graped at this party, by the way. And these parties, it wasn't just the one party. Yes, forever, Exennial says. Forever ex-ennial, but it was unintentional. Sarah Bone. I'm a human. I was too lenient.
I shouldn't have looked the other way too many times.
Look the other
40
way.
to 45 witnesses are taking the stand in Shannon O'Connor's criminal trial. Prosecutors tell me it may go until March. With the investigative unit, I'm Candace Wen, NBC Bay Area News.
I want to share some news. Oops, sorry. And we can stop sharing and maybe it'll stop glitching. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. I think my chat is moving again. Definitely to Lulu. And look at May says, I am a new as of last weekish to your channel, but now I log on and check your channel first. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love it. I think you figured it out, right? Thank you. Welcome. I think you're going to like it here. Because Macoma score says she really should exercise her right to remain silent. Yeah, that might be a good advice. And I'm sure that her lawyer is cringing that she did this because they're going to play it at her trial. They always do if she doesn't testify. And even if she does. And yes, Zimi, she is the victim of those drinking teens. Yep. Blaming the other parents, says Jen. I mean, is it just me? Trading Story says the worst child case I have ever heard of was in Chickasha, Oklahoma this month, the cold case. All right. I haven't heard about it. Cosma says she should be locked up more carefully. Nikki Crayon says, I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. Karen Deep Squall says, don't be friends with your children or their friends. You're the adult. And she failed. Elizabeth says, just communicating with kids on Snapchat and changing the name of the chat so other parents wouldn't know is disturbing. Highly disturbing. Consciousness of guilt? Maybe. Blaming the children. Yep, she's blaming the children, says Welch Lady. And Sherilyn says, and during the panty? Please tell me they wore masks. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Melissa was just like, be a parent, not a friend. OMG. And Lexi 2 times says she liked being in control, not diagnosing, but it sounds like narcissism or something similar. She's dangerous and needs help. That's her opinion. Snark Art says you are going to like it here. So if you're interested, we will continue to cover the Los Gatos party mom out of Santa Clara County, Shannon O'Connor trial that's going to go on through March. So he says 40 to 45 witnesses is on the level of the number of witnesses that Lally called to testify about the local basketball game score and the high top tables. Yeah. Ellen Greenberg was at the beginning of the stream. Ellen Greenberg is a very, very sad story about a young woman. She was a teacher. And her death in 2011 was ruled, I think it was 2011, a suicide, even though many of the wounds were stab wounds to the back of her head and neck. And the feds have finally become involved, and hopefully maybe one day her parents will get justice. So it's at the very beginning of the stream. That's what we covered at the top of the 2-hour and 15-minute stream that we were on right this moment. Stina says, paying more attention is what your parents say about the vodka that keeps magically refilling itself, not about what she did. Correct. Well, Cupcake, thank you. Says, please remember to like the video and subscribe to receive notifications. It is free. It is free. Thank you. Learn some integrity for your deuce. Said Melanie, it's okay on freeze. We can still hear you. And Amanda said, thank you, Melanie. Thank you for your super chat. And Hank's tie-dye is here and says, hi, Mel. I'm a Long Islander who lived a few blocks from Rex. Will you be covering his trial? I heard the judge went ballistic the other day. I was going to go to court for it, and I didn't because there was another hearing that I was covering that day on Kelsey Fitzsimmons, but it's not going to be televised. There's not going to be any cameras. And so I may have to go to court. May have to go to Riverhead every day. It's a pretty big courtroom, or at least go some days. He's asking the court to dismiss Sandra Costilla, I believe. And the judge went ballistic. He wants this case. He said this case is going to trial come hell or high water, like around Labor Day. So get your act together. Not really blaming Michael Brown. Thank you for your super chat. But. And also the district attorney, Ray Tierney, didn't throw him under the bus either. Animal Love Fest says, there was a man who did the same thing in our neighborhood with my guy friends, only I was not allowed and couldn't understand why until later. It was bad and my friends were truly affected. Yeah. No, Jenna, no cameras for the Long Island serial killer because we live in New York and they just don't do that here. They just don't do it here, even though it's state court. There's also never any cameras in federal court. We know that. But no cameras in New York. I can see you. I can see you. I fixed it. In fact, I sent you back an email saying you're all set. And you're all set. Rex's Reckoning is coming soon, says 25 years on the job. Rex's Reckoning is coming soon. We're here for it. It's almost impossible to get the court filings on that case, too, for some reason. I don't know why. But it is. So he says, state government employees are often selected for jury duty because often the state pays full wages when serving on a jury, so less hardship performing civic duties. Right. So I also see a lot of retirees on jury duty because, you know, they're retired. All right, I'm going to figure out my technical issues. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out with me today. Twice for several hours today, even though it's been a glitchy mess with what I'm going to believe is this Verizon issue. But thank you, Mama She, for your very generous $50 Cash App, who says, I was about to super chat, but I want you to get it all. Oh, thank you so much. Many people don't know that YouTube takes 30% of super chats. And if you super chat from your phone, from the YouTube app, they take 20% for the app and then 30% after that. So thank you so very much, Mama She. Many people do not know that. And thank you, Sherilyn, also for your Cash App. Says, thanks for all you do. You are the GOAT. I love you with all of my heart. No, I love you. I love you more. No, I love you more. No, I love you the most. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go. I will see you tomorrow at, what time did I say? I don't even remember. Hold on a second. Oh, and then that was a whole other thing. Like StreamYard had me on Pacific time for some reason. And then I had to switch that inside of my settings because I guess every Mac automatically comes on Pacific time. So I was setting the stream for Pacific time. I think I said 10:30 tomorrow, right? Let's see. 10:30 a.m. Eastern is what we're doing tomorrow on Aaron Spencer. We're going to catch up. Thanks, mods. I love you. I could never do this without you. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. And I would never want to because you guys are the best. And I love you with all my heart. Thanks, everyone else, for being here with me today. For some of you, 2 shows. And I will see you in the morning. If I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. Please smash the like button. Share the stream out. Do all the things that YouTube likes. And come back tomorrow. When I hit end on this, it's going to teleport you over to the morning stream so that you can hit the reminder and come back in the morning so we can catch up on all things Aaron Spencer, because if you don't know about this case, you will be outraged. More Arkansas. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, and above all, stay safe, my friends. It's a jungle out there. All right, you guys, peace. Hang tight. Buckle your seatbelts in 3, 2, 1. Teleportation.